chord was that? Well, ear training. Is that an important thing for guitar players? Are you kidding me? Absolutely. It is one of the most important things you can learn, or you can work on and improve. That's the biggest thing. So I've got a couple of suggestions here as to things to pay attention to improve your hearing. Got it? And that, because one of the things that's really important about ear training is that if you can hear a chord progression and remember it, you'll hear it in the thousands of other songs. And now, just by remembering what it sounds like to go from C to B flat to G, which is a little bit unusual, but then when you hear this, that'll all register with you as like, oh, that's what that sounds like. So the place to start is just paying attention to songs. Put on songs by the Beatles or Creedence Clearwater Revival or the Doors or whatever, and don't worry about the chords yet. Just worry about when they change. See if you can hear, now it's much easier if there's only a guitar. You can of course hear a change there. Now, the thing you want to pay attention to now was that third chord, did it go back to the one it just came from, or did it do something else? Now it's back to the first one again, and I'm hearing the same first two back and forth. So listening to chords and just trying to figure out when it comes back to one you've already played, or whether it's going off to another one. So laying out a little box that maybe has 8 slots in it, because chances are you've got, like 2 lines of 4, chances are really good that you have things happening in groups of 4s in music. Was that 1 measure of this and then 2 measures of that, or 2 measures of this and then a couple of changes? So starting with just laying it out with X's and O's and Y's and Z's and figuring out, okay, well that was chord X, and then it went to Z, and then it went back to X. Oh, and then it went somewhere else. It wasn't Z, it was Y or something, is the first place to go. Pay attention to what you're hearing in terms of, and without worrying about what they are yet. One of the best ways now to figure out what they are is look up a YouTube video and see where their hand is. That's always good, but it doesn't always help, because sometimes it's really hard to see what their hand is doing. But pay attention to the bass notes. I remember first time my friend Mike and I were trying to figure out the chords of Southern Man, and it opens up with piano. Thinking, how are we going to figure this out? There's not even any guitar playing chords in here, where there are in many of the other songs on that album. And so he said, oh, let's just pay attention to the bass. And so you hear the chord on the piano, you start messing around with bass notes, and you find that it's a D. And then I heard 2 more chords. He went lower. Nope. Ah. It was all the way down there. And there it was. Now I've got this. Okay, now we start messing around with chords. Maybe it was D. Oh, no. Maybe it was D minor. Ah, there we go. So listen for bass notes. If the guitar is very clear in there, here's another big hint. If you're hearing a song and the guitar is just strumming away at what sound like open normal chords, there's always a chance that it's capoed. Because if you are strumming something that sounds like it sounds like he's on an E flat chord, chances are he's not playing, or she, an E flat chord up here. So pay attention to the 5 common keys that guitar player, singer, songwriters tend to write in, and those are the keys that have open chords as their tonic chord. Caged, if you will. Almost hate to bring that up in this, but it's kind of it's a coincidence. That'd be C, G, D, A, and E. Okay? The order doesn't matter. I usually think of them as C, D, G, A, E for no particular reason. That's not what I just said probably, but it doesn't matter. But those are the keys that most guitar songs are commonly written in. So those are the best keys to have done your theory homework in and know what the chords are in those keys, and that's partly what you're listening for. So There's a lot more to ear training, and I have a whole course on it that you can track down. There's information about how to get it very close to here. So, and there are a lot of other courses that I have available. So I hope this is just a little tip of the iceberg with ear training. The other thing, though, is practice figuring out melodies. Figure out how to play a melody like. And you can change the endings and stuff like that if you want. But picking out a melody one note at a time is really useful too. And it could be things as simple, maybe not simple, but Happy Birthday or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or Yankee Doodle or anything like that. So learning to play melodies just by ear is really, really useful in getting further down the line in ear training. So hopefully that'll get you a little bit started on it, but it's one of those things that the longer you do it, the easier it gets. Kind of the same thing with a lot of things musical. But all you really have to do to become a good play-by-ear musician is pay attention and remember things that happened in other songs. When you hear this, and you maybe say, oh, that sounds like a David Bowie song, but if you hear it like this, there's another chord in there. Very similar though. So, scope out chord progressions, practice playing little melodies, and ear training does not have to be quite as mysterious.